let me make sure things are set up. Looks like mic is working. I got screens working. I got the link in Twitch. I need to get the link over in YouTube, but I gotta make sure YouTube is actually working first. Okay, YouTube is working. Hello, YouTube. Make sure the chat is working. And we'll get the link in the YouTube chat. After we, of course, wait forever for it to actually come up. So while that's happening, hopefully everybody's had a good week. It is been a very crazy, energetic week. We'll talk about it a little bit before we get started. But I got to remember what I'm doing because if I get distracted, I'll forget and then it won't get done. Story of my life. I am waiting for YouTube chat to come up so I can actually put this link in. Okay, there we go. Here we go. Now just pin it. Woohoo! Okay, cool. Working. All right. So let me. Yep, we got that going. We're good there. Okay, cool, cool, cool. All right. So we have, I think, everything ready to go. So let's open up our space. So then we have some good energy flowing in and flowing through. Try and say that 5 times fast. Flowing through. Good energy flowing through. Good energy flowing through. Oh, maybe you could do it. All right. Let me go here. All right. So here's our starting statement to open the space. So, welcome to Vibrant Numerals. Welcome to my sacred temple opportunity space. Welcome to healing with laughter, joy, peace, contemplation, and discomfort. Welcome to Vibrant Numerals. Welcome, welcome. Okay, so actually let's go to our whiteboard real quick because before we get started with our word for today, I did just want to uh, acknowledge and let anybody that is feeling kind of wonky from all of this energy know that yes, it is from all of this crazy energy. So we are right now in retrograde season. So we are in retrograde season. Retrograde season. And we have Pluto is in retrograde in Aquarius, in the sign of Aquarius. We have Neptune retrograde in the sign of Aries. We have Saturn retrograde in the sign of Aries. And we have Chiron is retrograde in the sign of Taurus. And so whenever we have these planets retrograde, it's changing our perspective. It's giving us a different perspective of the energy around us and how we're using the energy and our own energetic vibrations. So we have that going on. We also this week had the first of two eclipses that'll happen in this month. And so that means we are also in eclipse season. And eclipse season is when we have the sun or the moon being eclipsed by the shadow of either the earth or the I think it's both times it's the earth or the moon. But we just had the total solar eclipse, and this one was only able to be seen in Europe. And we'll have another one at the end of the month, I believe August 27th, which will be a lunar eclipse. And the eclipses are, and this also is for the Europe space. Um, but the eclipses and eclipse season is also a time of revealing. It's like pulling away the curtain on things that we may not have seen or that have been in the shadows. So we have that energy going on. We also this week, well, actually last week, mid last week, there was a 7.4 earthquake in Colombia. And whenever we have these kinds of things happening, um, it is the earth um, moving energy and releasing energy into the spaces. So we had that happen. And we also, in the last week and a half, so 1.5 weeks, or 1 to 2 weeks, however you want to read that, with my crazy handwriting. We've also had um, the volcano in Hawaii, so Kilauea, yeah. So the Hawaiian volcano has erupted twice. Um, I think it was eruptions 52 and 53. But also Mount Etna in Italy, Etna, has been extremely active. Both of these volcanoes are pretty regularly active, but this is an increase in their activity and in the cycles. So we're going to feel all of that. Also, I know, especially here in the United States and um, probably around the world, but I don't know because I haven't looked. But we've had some crazy weather. There are some tropical storms, there's some hurricanes, there's been tornadoes, crazy rainstorms, a lot of those things going on. And that also is a movement and release of energy from the earth. So that's how the earth is managing this energy. So if you've had headaches, feel like pressure changes, feel a little bit wonky and weird, um, it could be any of these things because we do have a lot of energy moving and energetic things happening at this time. Okay, I just wanted to make sure to mention that today, so that I can acknowledge anybody that is feeling wonky. Yes, there is reason. There's reason to feel wonky. I have been feeling wonky myself. So let's go back over to our PowerPoint and we can get started talking about um, today's word. So, for anyone that hasn't seen any of this before, um, the my Word is Bond series is all about really digging into one word, the vibration of that word to help us understand not only how um, our definition of that word or use of that word is impacting us energetically and vibrationally, but how we can have that awareness and be more intentional in how we're using not just the words that we're looking at, but really all of our language, because it is a exchange, it's an energetic exchange. And so we need to be aware of how we are going through these energetic exchanges. So we'll go back over to our whiteboard and start looking at our word for this week. So for this week, oh, okay. Um, for this week, our word is race, and it's the word. So it's thinking about first, what is the first definition that comes to mind? What is the first thing um, that comes into your mind as you see and hear this word? If there's people that enjoy certain sports or sporting events, they may think of race as actual race of cars or horses or people running a race. Um, there's other people that will immediately think of the social constructs of race um, based on physical characteristics. And then there's probably others that the first thing that they think of is um, certain terms and phrases like rat race, um, use of those terms and use of the term race in particular ways. And so I want us to pay attention to what is the first definition that comes to mind, because that is going to help us be in awareness of our perspective. Because we need to understand from our perspective how these different words and definitions are impacting us, but also how we're using these words, we're using these vibrations um, in our own speech and in our own interactions with other people and just with, society at large. So let's look at the vibration of each one of these letters. So we use the little code book for English, where A equals 1, and then we go all the way through the English alphabet, all the way to Z equals 26. And so um, for the word race, R is 18, A is 1, C is 3, and E is 5. So let's look at each one of these vibrations initially. So we have an interesting combination of vibrations here, where 5 is the vibration of change. So when we feel something is changing or a change is coming, it tends to be the vibration of 5 or a combination of vibrations that gets us to a 5. But we also have growth in here. And so I think it's important, this is a good point to actually say this, is to recognize the difference of when we are feeling and experiencing change versus when we are feeling and experiencing growth. Because growth can be a type of change, or growth can be like the catalyst or the fuel for change, or vice versa, where change can really be like the fuel for growth. But it's important to understand that there is a vibrational difference there. Um, and so those vibrations will feel different in our bodies. Um, we also have two ones here, where one is new energy. This can be a new person, a new thought, a new idea, a new location, a new behavior, anything that is not currently in your energetic space that is coming into that space and could be impacting you in some way. So we have two of the ones in here. We also have this eight, where eight is like this reap what you sow energy. It's karma. It's really anything that is a cycle, any type of energy that is a repetition. So this would very much feel like um, routines, habits, um, something from your past coming back around is usually that eight energy. And then also, like how we would think about and describe karma is also an eight energy. Um, I think the last thing that I'll just point out is that 18. So when we have the vibration of 1 and 8 together, um, this in the tarot, so if we go to some of our other spaces to understand some of the vibrations that we are experiencing and the energy we are experiencing, in the tarot, 18 is representative of the moon card. And I just think this is relevant um, here today and in this conversation. One, because we just had that total solar eclipse actually yesterday. And we are going to have, in about a week or two, we'll have a lunar eclipse. So, with those eclipses, this moon energy is very strong right now. But also, the moon is representative of the space of the emotions, it's the emotional space. So, um, emotional space, or you can think of it as the heart space. And when we look at our um, astrological chart, we look at our like our birth chart, your sun is how your mind works and how you are connecting to energy and vibrations with your mind, how you're using that energy um, with your mind. And your moon is how you are using that energy or connecting to vibration and energy with your heart. How is your heart using that energy? And we essentially are always supposed to be using our mind and our heart in every capacity, where it really never should be one or the other. That's why they both have a dominant energy, a dominant way of working, and that's based on whatever sign you have your sun and your moon in. Um, let's see, what else do we have? We do have a couple of those portal energies. So we have right here where we have the 18, so 1 8 with this 1 from the A. And this together is giving us one of our first portals. And so, portal energies, portal vibrations, we see whenever we have the same vibration on either end. And you could think about this as like, um, where these vibrations want to be near each other because they are the same. They're attracted because they're the same. And so, because they are trying to be near each other, they're creating this movement that is like making a whirlpool, and is amplifying the vibration that's in the middle, which in this case is this 8. This 8 of reap what you sow, cycle, karma energy. Oh, hi, Cousin B. Thanks for being here. It's good to see you. So we have this first one. So when we're talking about this 8 energy of being a repeated cycle, it could also be the past coming up and repeating itself. 8 vibration is also like the history repeating itself, history coming around and repeating itself. Yeah. Late night vibrant, huh? um yeah, this week has been a little bit odd. I've been on way earlier in the day than I usually am yesterday to be able to show the eclipse. So for anybody that didn't get to see it, there is a recording on my Twitch account if you want to go watch that. Um, and then yeah, tonight late night. So this 8 is being highly amplified. Um, and in this case of the word race, it is very much feeling like history repeating itself. Um, or like the setting up and making of cycles, because a cycle can be even repeating um, thoughts and behaviors that you're trying to make a social norm. So the repetition, that's that cycle energy of um, any particular way of thinking or way of being that then is keeps coming back around and keeps continuing. Oh, hi, Sassy. Thanks for being here. It's good to see you. Anybody on YouTube? the- Both Cousin B and Sassy are over on Twitch. So, I'm a little bit crazy, but not that crazy. So we're doing a deep dive on this word, the one word race. Oh, and I'm glad you all broke me out of my thinking, because I forgot to say that in that link tree link for both people on Twitch or on um, YouTube, you can go to that Linktree link, and the form is there so that you can put in any songs or lyrics that are related to our word of the day, which is race. And we'll spin our lyric wheel later on, where we'll use those lyrics or those songs to help us get more understanding. Oh, well, I'm glad you're able to post now, Sassy. You've been here this whole time. Well, thank you for being here and for being patient to be able to post. So we're looking at where what vibrations within this word are being amplified. And so one way that vibrations are amplified is when we have these portals that are being created. And so we have this 8 vibration here that's being amplified by having both of these ones on either side of it. But then that actually brings us to the second amplification through a portal, where here we have 3 plus 5. That's giving us another 8. And so we have 1 8 that is being amplified. We have another 8 here that is being um, created it with the weaving and the coming together of this growth energy and this change energy. So the growth vibration and the change vibration of the 3 and the 5 are working strongly together to bring us this second 8. And if we look, let's see. So let's rewrite this. We have 18 and then 1 and then 3 and then 5. And we have this 3 and 5 coming together to make an 8. And we have this 8 being amplified by these 2 ones. Then what's in between these? So when we have those portal vibrations where these 2 8s want to be near each other, and so they are creating like that whirlpool motion that then is amplifying the vibration that's here in the middle. And the vibration that's here in the middle is this 1. And this 1 is the vibration of something new. So it's interesting that the 2 dominant vibrations in this word race are the past, history repeating itself, or a repeated cycle with the 8, and the 1 of something new coming in. And competing for the space or wanting to bring a change or growth with this new energy and the new interaction of this energy. Very interesting. Let me see if there's anything else that I'm seeing, and let me know if you're seeing anything as well. I don't think so. Okay. So then what we get, my gosh, I used all my colors. This tends to regularly happen. If we do 18 plus 1 plus 3 plus 5, we get 27. And 27, when we add up the 2 and the 7 together, we get a 9. So we have the amplification of this 1 energy and this 8 energy. And when that 1 and 8 energy are coming together, we're getting the 9 also. So we have these um, 3 vibrations that are really amplified and really taking precedence here in the vibration of this word. And we would expect to see all 3 kind of running through how this word is used and the definitions that we have for this word and how we use it in our everyday life. Now, 9 is the ending of cycles. Let me get a different color here. So 9 is the ending of cycles. So end a cycle. or multiple cycles, where 8 is representing those cycles. So it's representing the routine, it's representing like those things that are repeating through history, the past coming back, that reap what you sow energy. 9 is really about ending those cycles. And so we very much here have what it's looking like. So let me see if this will be interesting, but that's not unusual. Um, what it is looking like is it looks like it's this 8 energy is like it's not, it's sometimes it's feeling like a tug of war, but it also is feeling very much like a balancing act with this one. So it's the cycles that are in place, the past coming up, karma, reap what you sow, all that 8 energy that is really trying to be balanced out, um, with this one energy of new, having new energy in the space and doing things in a new way and thinking about things in a new way. And so this is the push and pull that is happening around this word race. Um, and when these two are balanced, if they ever can be, um, we get to the 9 where we're finally ending cycles. We're ending this repeated behavior. We're ending this repeated thoughts and ideas that keep coming up and keep coming around. And that's interesting to think about, in that if we think about really most uses of the word, so whether it's a race that you are, like a race that's being run, um, or like a NASCAR race, or um, if we think of the social construct of race, it it all is getting to an end at some point. And that's what it's trying to do. It's trying to get to an end at some point. It's just trying to get a balance between what has been, and what keeps coming around with what's new. Hmm, interesting. And actually getting to the end. Now, the other thing we have to think about is, what does that end actually look like? When those cycles actually end, what does it look like? And so when we think about like a running race, I love track and field. Um, the end is that finish line, and who's the winner and who has been able to break the records. And so that's a clear end. There also is usually always regular commentary around track and field. That's actually part of what I like, is the confidence and the shit talking is also a fun part of seeing those races and that competitiveness. And so it puts a definitive end to everything that's being said, where everybody competing is saying that they are the best and they are the greatest, and they're using their past, so the 8 energy, to be able to try and prove that that's what's happening. But they also are using what they have done new, or this new time, that 1 energy, to prove that they are the best when we get to the end of that race. So when we actually get to the 9, now it's just a definitive answer. Now there's no need to um, repeat what has happened in the past, at least not at that exact moment, or what has been changed or what's new. There is just a definitive end to the race. But then, in like the circumstance of the social construct of race, and we'll actually look up the definitions here um, in just a minute. I think we need to think about like what is that? What does that end actually look like? Because there is so much history, and it's seeming like at every moment, especially here in the United States, but it seems like even across the world that there's a shifting of what has been believed and um, used as a foundation for the definition of race and the use of the social construct of race to put some ahead of others just based on physical attributes, the color of your skin. Um, Even while some of that is continuously coming from the past, it is like every moment there's something new. There's a new way that it's being expressed. There's a new way of thinking about it or a behavior. And they're not always towards trying to get to an end of those cycles. But they also aren't always towards perpetuating those cycles either. So I don't know what an actual end would look like. I don't know. You tell me what you think. So I think this is a it's interesting word for this week. I'm going to take a breath and get a drink of water and see if anybody has anything to add or to say, and then we'll just go to our browser and start looking at the definitions that actually come up with this word. If you think of any um, words that you regularly hear with the word race, um, or any other versions of the word race that you'd like to look at the vibrations of, those can be put in the chat as well. Okay, I'm really going to stop talking and get some water. Okay. I know. Such deep topics, so such late at night. Just let your subconscious take over. All right, so let's go to our browser and see what we can find for definitions. Oh, I don't know why, but it feels like I need to just show this. So for anyone that hasn't been here before, this is our lyric wheel. Um, and you could add any of the lyrics that you and songs that relate to our word today, which is race, um, to this lyric wheel because we'll spin it and we'll randomly select lyrics and songs to add to the discussion. And you can do that through the Linktree link. So if you go to the link that's pinned, you'll should see on there my word is bond, and be able to fill out the form to add whatever you'd like to add to this wheel. Now, it doesn't have to be just one genre. Um, so please feel free to add whatever resonates for you. Okay, so just felt like I needed to show that. Oh, hi, Doc. It's so good to see you. Thank you for being here. Yeah, it is late. It is late. Thursdays is my late night live. So, yeah, but we're doing the My Word is Bond series where we're just picking, we have one word for the whole live that we just deep dive into. And so the word for this week is race. And we are just going over to our browser to look up the definition. So, definition of the word race. I hope you're well, Doc. I hope everybody's having a good week. We have a lot of energy happening this week, so hopefully everybody's handling that okay. All right, so here our definition of race. So it says race is a way to group people by outward physical traits like skin color. Science shows that race is not real in our DNA. Instead, society made up race to sort people. So that is the social construct definition. Um, and so it's kind of crazy. I mean, I'm not surprised, but it is kind of crazy to see that they don't really give us another definition of race, even though we know there's multiple. So maybe let's look in the dictionary itself. Yes, I'm doing well, Doc. Thank you for asking. And, take your time. I'm here, so whenever you are ready to get back into your numerology research and coming to the lives, I'll be here. So let yourself heal and give yourself all the time you need, because that's a big life event to lose somebody in that way. I'm glad that you're here tonight, though. It's really good to see you. All right, so let's see if the dictionary gives us something different. So, first definition is any one of the groups that humans are often divided into based on physical traits regarded as common among people of shared ancestry. So, again, it's the social construct of race that's in here. But at least here it is giving us more of where it has come from. Um, where, oh, and this is speaking about how um, now there are these laws and amendments that are on the books, both at the federal level and at the state, that come from this Civil Rights Act of 1964 that require, well, they set the expectation that nobody will be um, unlawfully uh, employed or not hired or fired due to race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. So, okay, if you say so. And here we get more and more about the social construct of race. Oh my gosh, it's like all of that, which I get, I understand, but at the same time, it's kind of frustrating because maybe it's just me, but it's frustrating in that we know and we can see in everyday life how race has been, as this social construct, has been put at the forefront and is really impacting everybody's life. Um, and I just want to know where else it's coming from. So we'll just keep digging down. Well, I'll not get on my soapbox yet. Well, keep digging down. So we also have a group of living things considered as a category. Okay. Oh, hi, Josh. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here. Doc over on YouTube, Josh and Cousin B and Sassy are over on Twitch. So in both places at once. So I'll try and make sure that I relay conversations between you. Thanks for being here, Josh, and thanks for putting your songs into the lyric wheel. I saw that earlier. If you have any more, feel free to go ahead and put those in. So let's see. Okay, so a group of living things considered as a category. So, like the human race. But are any other, like animals or living things, categorized as a race? I don't think I've ever heard that. Oh, see here, it switches to breed. Ugh, gross. And breeding. Well, that's kind of gross. Well, then here's biology, where it's a group within a species that is distinguishable from others of the same species. So the example they give is the quail species is diverse and can be classified into 21 recognized geographic races in North America. Huh. So it's a way of, yeah, categorizing, even in that way. Hmm. Okay. And then we've got more of the social construct and political space. Ooh. Okay. Let's look at the origin. Origin of the word race. Because still, even in the dictionary, it did not talk about like, oh, race, like running a race. It really was focused on the separation of humans and also other species into categories based on physical attributes. So here, the word race, meaning a group of people or animals of common descent, entered English in the 16th century from the Middle French race, originating from the Italian razza in the early 14th century. Its ultimate root is uncertain, though historical theories link it to the Latin radix or root or ratio, meaning breed or kind. So early meanings were animal lineage, so meaning breed, specifically horses and dogs with distinct pedigree. So it was distinguishing and categorizing animals between their breed and their pedigree. So like those that were of like a particular level of like, these are the show dogs or the show horses or whatever. Oh, this is getting grosser. And then by the 16th century, the term shifted to describe human lineage, referring first to nobles, houses, dynasties, or families of high social standing. So race then was looking at family lineage, which would be more like class designations. So, not being necessarily designated by physical characteristics, but being categorized based on the families you were born into and your status in society. Also, gross. And then there was the broad classification during the era of European expansion and the rise of modern science in the 17th and 18th century. The word evolved into a biological and social term used to categorize human populations. So it was in that 17th and 18th century. Um, where it really began to start being used to categorize human populations by physical characteristics. Okay, so then we finally get here to other common meanings of race that have different origins. And this is what I wanted to see. I wanted to see if the other way that we use race, the definitions of race, actually had the same origin, and it looks like it doesn't. Um, and I think that's important to note. Kind of like when we've talked about previously, where there are some words that in English, it's just one word that represents a big, huge range of whatever, like the word love, and how all those different types of love um, are supposed to fit under the one word and in the one definition. Whereas in other languages, it's in particular ancient languages, usually have more than one word representing the different kinds. So here, swift running for the word race, meaning a contest of speed or rapid movement. It comes from an Old English word of ras, or a rush or running, and an Old Norse word, ras, a running current of water. So when we think about use of the word race as like running a race, um, being part of a race, that actually has a completely different origin. So the social construct of race didn't even come into English until the 17th or 18th century. But this idea of a contest of speed or rapid movement or having a race is actually from Old English. So it's been around a lot more. I also think it's interesting that have this connection to water. So the other definition here, or the origin, is with a water channel, where it's meaning a swift current or a mill race. It also derives from the Old Norse ras via the Scandinavian and Northern French influences. Hmm. Okay. So, indeed, Josh. So, over on Twitch, everybody on YouTube, Josh said, finding the race origin has become a rat race. Well, and that's kind of what I was thinking. That is actually a good one. But let's go over to our whiteboard because I was really wanting to understand these different origins of race, or to know if it even was different origins of the word race, because it seems like those two definitions have now come together and like have become working together or something that's the same. Um, and I think that's interesting to think about also, where if we look at this word race, and we know that race equals 27. Oh, hi, Judy, over on YouTube. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here. Late night. So, if we know that this word race is encompassing these same vibrations, um, but are being used in a different way. So we have over here, we have like running a race. It's a test of speed. Who's going to be the winner? Um, but then also we have the social construct of race that is used to um, categorize people based on physical attributes alone. At some point, and maybe it is at that 17th and 18th century, when this social construct definition of race started being used, but it does seem like at some point, even though they have different origins and definitions, that these two have merged. And so now it's where you actually have a race where, whoa, the, so you have like the starting line and you have the finish line. And if we think about, okay, the finish line is however we'd be defining winning or success. And if the starting line is, well, really, it is at our birth, because that's when our souls are stepping into the physical attributes that could be used to define our race, which just always seems weird to me because it's like nobody can help that. You can't, like, I know now there's all kinds of ways to, we're not even going to get into that, but you can't change um necessarily how you arrive into this world physically at birth. But if we think about it as a race, like running a race where you're starting at birth and you're going through life to get to this success, or this finish line of being a winner, that it seems that these social constructs of race have come in and shifted where this starting line is. So there's still the definitive finish, or how success is being defined, how it is actually winning the race. But the social construct is taking it from at birth, instead of that being the same start for everybody, It's saying if you're part of this race of humans, because you have these physical attributes that you didn't get to choose, you get to start here. So this is like you're getting to start where you have less of a distance to go to be able to reach that end point to be successful. Versus if you are part of, so this is like race one. But if you're part of a different race, instead of you getting to actually start right at the moment that you are born and getting to this success, your start line is actually moved back behind and it's made where you're at a disadvantage because of your physical attributes, but also of your ancestry and your lineage. So this is like race two. And now they're starting here. But the finish line, how you would define success, um, is not changing. And it seems like the movement of this starting line um is constantly moving. So it's moved once based off of your physical attributes, but don't be born fast. Don't be born brilliant in a way that you are inching your way up faster to that success, to that winning finish line before society intended you to. Because then the starting line could be changed again, where now, oh, it could be changed now, not just based off of the color of your skin or the wealth or how much money your family has or who is holding power in your family. But now it could be changed also because of your genitalia. Were you born a woman or were you born a man with genitalia? And I hate using man and woman because that's not really what it is. But then also, so now your gender can be used against you to change that starting line and um your sexuality. So it's like society is always finding these new ways to change that starting line, um, to make sure that those that they do not think are in that superior race um, have a harder time of actually making it to that finish line. So I think that that may be some of what we are seeing in this vibration or this combination of vibration of 8 and 1, because here is where 8 is that history, that past, um, your ancestry. It's what has already been put in place. It's the way of thinking and the behaviors that are already setting the parameters of the race based on your race. But then you also have this these new ideas or these new things that are constantly coming in. And we see that regularly where, yeah, we have seen that with these and in the United States in particular, but even around the world, because you can think about like South Africa, and also in many of these European countries, they've had similar civil rights movements where there have been these new ideas and things that are coming in that are demanding that things change in a different direction. And so then you get new laws, you get new ways of thinking. Um, but you're always having to balance between these two in order to try and get to an end. Okay, so everybody over on YouTube, on Twitch, Josh says, I've literally seen a video where they ask kids questions about opportunities and they take steps forward for everything positive in their life. When it's done, all the kids who thought they were winning just realized how much of a head start they had. Yes, I've seen those videos too, and it's so interesting um, to see that, especially with this newer generation, because it seems like with each generation that is coming in, we're getting more of this new energy and ideals that are demanding things change. Like I actually really enjoy sitting back and watching Gen Z in particular um, really go in on older generations for the way that they're thinking and behaving. Like I actually recently saw a couple of videos of um, children like really calling out their parents for the way that they are thinking and behaving in really racist ways and perpetuating like these old ideals. So yeah, it's interesting to be able to be aware of it and watch and see. And like what happens to our brains, to our confidence, to our motivation when we start realizing these things, when we start realizing that, oh, we just actually had a head start. Um, so are we really winning if we had a head start? Are we really better just because we are of a particular race or a particular class or a particular gender or a particular sex? Um, because all of those just gave us a head start. But also, are we doomed to not meet success or to not be able to win? Or should we not even be competing or even thinking about being part of the race if we know that we have such disadvantages for things that we can't change because we are who we are? I think it's we're in a time now where it's really important to be thinking about these things, and that's probably why this word race has come up for us to examine, because all of the words in um, my word is bond. I just did a search of most used and important terms um, of the times right now. I the only ones I chose were community at the very beginning and self at the very end. So I think it is very telling too to have the words that are coming up actually be part of this series and have us thinking about. The other thing that it's making me think about is when we've talked about how perspective can change our um, understanding and acceptance and what we actually see as truth. So, just to give a reminder, if we have a truth, and in this case, this truth can be what success is. What does success look like in your life or in society in general? And it's based off of your perspective, how much of this truth that you are actually able to perceive and take in. And then you base your thoughts and behaviors and like how you run the race um, based off of this perspective. So to give a more like general example, if your perspective is that the fastest runners, the ones that always win the race, your perspective is, and what you've been taught from your experiences, is that it's those runners that eat the most protein that win the races. That's what makes them super fast. So now you're over here in your perspective, um, seeing that part of the truth where that, yeah, that can be true, that the ones that win the race, the ones that are fastest, do consume more protein than others or than the average person. But that's not the whole truth, because then we could have somebody else who is over here who has a different perspective, who sees, okay, the truth is that the the people that are the fastest and that win the race are those that practice every single day. And that also is part of the truth, but it's not the whole truth. And it's only when we are able to accept multiple perspectives and allow more of the perspectives that are seeing all these different pieces of the truth that we're actually able to see the whole truth. We also talked about how if you are in a privileged position where you're just who you are. So you didn't have any say of how much money the family you were born into had, how much power or prestige that they had, what color your skin is, what your body type is, none of that. You didn't get to choose any of that. But if you are born into a perspective that has those privileges of just being born in the right body to the right family, then your um your need to see a wider amount of the truth is actually shrunk. So you might only see this because there's no need for you to see outside of that, because you don't need to see outside of that to win the race, to be successful, but also to survive. And that's the big piece, is the survival piece. Whereas somebody that is born into a body that would be considered wrong, where they are, according to race and sex and gender and sexuality, they're in the completely worst body because they're overall oppressed in every way. Now their perspective is more broad. It has to be, because they have to understand and recognize more of this truth of how um, society and the world is really acting and behaving, so that they can survive. Where it's not, um, it's like they're running a completely different race, where success in this sense of being oppressed. So this is like oppression. So now that actual end of the race, finishing, winning, being successful is just surviving. So now not only is the starting line being changed, but what success actually is changed. So it's almost like where if this all the way here is like the ultimate success. It's like the most success that any one person could ever achieve. That now, by having success just be surviving, you're stopping here because this is survival. So you're thinking you're winning and you have reached success, not realizing that there's even more beyond that. Well, gosh. So I think it's interesting to be able to look at how these two different origins of the word race and use of the word race, they really are merged very heavily now, even if it wasn't ever intended to be that way. Let's look. Let me know if there's other words um, or like rat race or any of these combinations, race car, we've looked at that before, that you want me to look at or you think would be helpful in looking at. Um, and while you get those into the chat, I'm going to just look at, so we have the word race that is this vibration of 27. And 27, when we add up the 2 and the 7, we get 9. Okay, yeah, that is a good one, Josh. So Josh has suggested that we also look at ethnicity and see how ethnicity is different from this word race. I would say also, Josh, probably even nationality too. So ethnicity and nationality, because we had nation last week and saw that it was a little bit different than what we expected, but like what country were you born in? Um, and then like what ethnic group you were born in. Yeah, I think that's a good one. All right, we'll do that next. Um, so the overarching vibration is this 9, which is bringing an end to a cycle. But it's this 27 that tells us how we actually get to the end of the cycle. And it's in 2 steps, where step 1 is this 7, which is taking action, but in flow, where I think this is very interesting because this is action and flow is the acceptance and the acknowledgement of the need for both purely masculine and feminine energies together. And this is not like man, woman, it's none of that. It's how the energy moves, and what it really promotes is either masculine or feminine energy. So, masculine energy is very much about action, it's the outward motion. So, outward motion of energy. Whereas Feminine is the part that is the flow, where it is an inward motion of energy, where flow is more about pulling in and attracting in. So, this is why we consider things that are beautiful to be more feminine. Like that's a feminine attribute because beauty draws you in, it pulls you in. It's a flow, it's an inward motion of energy. And this seven is this perfect combination, not meaning it's 50-50, but it's the perfect combination at any one time. So, action and flow is taking the right action at the right time in the right way. And it also is having this perfect balance for that moment, but also for you as an individual between your masculine and feminine energies. Everybody has both masculine and feminine energy flow. We need to be able to move our energy and the energy around us both outwardly but also inwardly. So we have both of those abilities, and it'll be different, a different balancing point for everybody. So I think that's interesting first, that the first step is this recognition and acceptance of this need for both masculine and feminine energy and having them work and move together. And then by taking this step, then we're able to get to this two, which is bringing an end to division or duality. So, first, by acknowledging the need for these two, both the feminine and the masculine, that then you're able to get to a point where neither one of these is acting alone, but they're acting in unison. Because it's not just bringing an end to division, it's bringing an end to the division between these extremes so that we can um, produce something brand new, produce a new way of doing things, um, produce a new way of masculine and feminine energy working together. But a two really is about ending the division in a way where you are producing something brand new. It's not the ending the division by accepting one extreme and rejecting the other. It's bringing an end to division because you're coming up with a whole brand new way of being able to accept the good parts or what we perceive as good from both of these extremes. The understanding that both of these extremes exist, but we don't have to live or try and function at one extreme or the other. So I think this is actually very interesting in thinking about um, the conversation that we've been having about race and having these two different origins of race actually coming together to really create this new definition or the new way that this word is being used, um, and the definition is being used. So to get to a true end of the cycle is to take action and flow. So it's not taking action, but it also is honoring the need for the flow, the inward motion of energy, to be a part of that. Ending the cycle is not just ending the division alone, it's producing something brand new. Hmm, okay. All right. So let's look at ethnicity. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. All right, before I do this though, let me go get some water. Because I do notice that when I'm doing these lives where I'm not seen, I do not drink enough water. So let me go drink some water. I'll be right back. I almost forgot that I turned my mute on so that you didn't have to listen to me drink my water. I almost started talking before I took the mute off. I'm glad I didn't because, those kind of things happen quite regularly around these parts. All right, so let's look at ethnicity. Um, and actually, before we break this down, let's go to our browser. And I'm just curious to look at. Curiouser and curiouser. I want to look at what is the difference between race and ethnicity. City. Oh, and it has nationality here too. All right, let's look at all three of them. So it says race, ethnicity, and nationality describe different parts of a person's identity. Race is a social category based on physical traits. Ethnicity is based on shared culture and ancestry, which does seem like it would be race also, but whatever. And nationality is a legal bond to a specific country. So not necessarily just where you're born, but a legal bond to it. Hmm. Okay. So we have race definition is a social category that groups people by physical traits like skin color, hair texture. What? And facial features. Okay, I'm just going to leave that. Ethnicity definition is a shared cultural background, including language, traditions, religion, history, and ancestry. I when we have to fill out all them forms, it's been a while since I've had to fill out those forms, um, and like check your ethnicity. What are even the categories of ethnicity? Well, like thinking about like here um in the United States. Those don't they aren't they like highly tied to race? I don't know. Well, I can look in a second. Nationality is defined as a legal and political tie to a country through birth or citizenship. Okay. So it's defined by like your passports, your laws, but also your allegiance to a nation state. So I'm going to look real quick at ethnicity categories in the United States of America. Yeah, see? What the heck? So federal categories, the OMB, the U.S. Office of Management and Budget, ew, so basically the census, gross, defines specific self-reported classifications for federal data collection, including but not limited to white, black, or African American, American Indian, or Alaska Native, Asian, and Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander. These categories now include a distinct classification for Middle Eastern or North African. So how is that different than race? Okay, categories. I'm sorry, I'm taking us down this rabbit hole. It's just bothering me. It's hurting my brain. Categories of race in the United States of America. Yeah, see, it's the exact same. So, official race and ethnicity. So, they're combining them together. Categories in the United States, as defined by the U.S. Office of Management and Budget and utilized by the U.S. Census Bureau, are designed for data collection purposes. Recent updates, as outlined by SPD 15 standards, have established seven often co-equal categories. So, American Indian or Alaskan Native, Asian, Black or African American, Hispanic or Latino, Middle Eastern or North African, Native Hawaiian or Pacific Islander, and white. That is not different. Anybody know if there's differences in other countries? What other country can we look at? Does any other countries even do this? Ew. This is bothering me. Um, all right, let's do European country categories. Let me know if you want the specific country. Categories of ethnicity. All right. No, this is not what I wanted. Huh. This might just be a United States thing. Okay, great. Well, and as people are, and countries are being Americanized, where they're all needing to conform to, um, they say it's democracy, but it's really capitalism. Um, then they may be taking on some of these definitions as well. All right, I'm not going to go down too much farther this the rabbit hole. Let's go back over to our whiteboard. I just was curious as we are looking at the vibrations of this word ethnicity, how it really is being defined differently. And it doesn't, at least not in the United States, it's not defined differently. It is just another version of race. So let's look at this. So ethnicity, if we use our little code book where A is 1 all the way to Z equals 26, ethnicity is 5 plus 20 plus 8 plus 14 plus 9 plus 3 plus 9 plus 20 plus 25. Huh. Okay, so already it's interesting to be able to see where there's actually portals being made in this one also, just like we were looking at for race. Um, but let's see, let's add this up. So this equals 113, which when we add that up, it is a 5. But I think what is interesting here is where we saw race over here being 27, where the first step really was about taking action and flow, the acceptance of these two, what seem like extremes but really are not, and bringing an end to division to produce something new. Whereas over here for ethnicity, um, we have the first step is about growth, but remembering that um, growth can happen in all directions because it's a neutral vibration. And this could, in this case, just being like growing up, that the space in which you grow up, because ethnicity really is more focused on culture and ancestry. So it is like this 3 is very much feeling more like the space in which you grew up and how that is um, bringing you to these different perspectives of who you are and who other people are in relation to you. Because whether we um, like to admit it or not, or whether we use it to our advantage or not, um, we can't help but to see other people and the world around us from our perspective. And our perspective is based on who we are at our core, so our core vibrations, but also the vibrations that we've picked up through the collection of vibrations through our life experiences and people we have encountered. So this 3 is feeling very much like the spaces in which you grew up, but also how you've grown into yourself based on your own life experiences and how that has grown your perspective. But what that is essentially doing is then we have this second part, which is this 11. Whereas where we had over here with race, so it's almost like race is more charged. It's more emotionally charged. It's more politically charged in the way that it is used and defined than ethnicity. But race here has the 2. It's not going from an 11 to the 2. Where over here for ethnicity, it's almost like you, because of the way that you have grown up and the perspective that you're having, you see and recognize these extremes, but you see it as a necessary division. And then it takes extra work. It takes extra life experiences. It takes extra energy to then actually be able to go from an 11 to a 2 because you have this division here, and this growth with this division is what is creating this change. So if you don't move from the 11 to the 2, what really is this change? It's interesting. Okay, so over on Twitch, Josh says, you think we've kind of disguised the true definition of ethnicity because it shows a group of people connected that don't all look alike. Yeah, so aside from race, which focuses more on our physical traits, yes, yes, I yes, I think that's absolutely exactly what's happening. That especially when we looked at what those categories of ethnicity, especially here in the United States, are, they're the exact same as race. So it's almost like um, ethnicity has, yes, been disguised. It's race in a disguise, where it's trying to say, oh, it's based off of your culture, it's based off of your ancestry, but it's the same categories as race. And it's actually probably more um, dangerous because it doesn't feel as charged. It's not as clear that there is even a division being created here, because you're like, yeah, I am connected to these other people because of our culture or because of our ancestry or shared life experiences. But then it's creating this division that you do not have to step away from. Kind of like looking, where is it? Where is it? Here, where it's almost like um, race is what's used to um, wield oppression way more than ethnicity. So it's almost like ethnicity is being used to move this oppressed perspective up here. Like this is like an ethnicity perspective. It's not all the way to this privileged place, this privileged perspective, but it's narrowing this broadened perspective of survival. I think that's actually very dangerous because now the people that are actually needing to survive and the people that need to recognize that other people are having to do extra just to survive aren't even seeing that. It's like putting a blinder up. It's like putting up an illusion. It is like a disguise. That's that's actually diabolical on a different level. Like race already is pretty diabolical. But like when you say ethnicity or you think about ethnicity, it does not feel as charged. It doesn't feel as charged. Oh, that's a good point, Josh. Life's a marathon. So Josh says over on Twitch that Nipsey said life's a marathon. Yeah. Yeah, and that was what was very interesting in um being able to think about and look at some of the songs and the lyrics about race or that used the word race. Um, because it was interesting to see how it did seem like when I was kind of going through and looking how where we had some of these people that were using their music, their art form, as an advocacy tool, as like a social justice tool. And they were using race and they were describing race as the social construct of categorizing humans by physical traits. But as we've gone on, some of the newer songs, it seemed like they were using race um, in a way that was combining those two different origins, and they were making it an entendre where they would be talking about being in a race, um, like a running race, or like here, a marathon, um, while at the same time speaking about race relations or how a particular race is treated differently. So that was interesting to see too. I am just curious. I'm going to do the um, calculation on this real quick. So marathon, I'm going to use our little code, is 90. That means a marathon. So adding the A here is 91. And 91 is the numerical vibration of the word mirror. So seeing a reflection of yourself in others. So then let's see. Life. Life is 32 with the S is 51. So both of them have this one in there. And together, this whole phrase is 142, which gets us a 7. Interesting. I wonder if we add. Okay, I knew it. I knew I was feeling something else. So if we make this life is a marathon. So we add an I here, which is 9. Um, then we actually get 151. And 151 is the numerical vibration of the word revolution. And we've talked about how right now with Uranus, yes, you can say Uranus, in Gemini, is this revolutionary action or revolutionary energy in the space of communication, and how every time Uranus has been in Gemini, which is every 84 years, the United States of America has been in some kind of war. And we just had that move into that space a like a month ago, something like that. Oh my gosh. Ruffle, where'd you come from? Of course you come in right at the time that talk about Uranus. Uranus. It's good to see you. Thanks for being here. All right, let's see. So Josh over on Twitch says, again, it was always more negative when finding songs. Yeah, race typically led into racism or only focused on that aspect. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And when I was looking at songs, I noticed that also, and wanting to I wanted to include some of that, but yeah, I had a hard time picking which ones I wanted to include. Um, Josh also said that he learned today that 91 was the year Michael Jackson released Black or White. Oh, that's actually interesting. Also, because so 91 is when we got Black Black or White from Michael Jackson. But also look at if we write the whole year out, 1991, we're getting a, oh, let me get a different color. We're getting a portal here where this new energy, so new ways of thinking, new ways of doing things, new ways of behavior are creating this portal that then is amplifying this vibration of a double nine. So we've been seeing how this nine, this end of a cycle is the ultimate goal of that vibration of the word race. But also, this 99 is the numeric vibration of the word ascension. So, raising your vibration to another state of being or way of being. And also, 99 is the numerical vibration of the word judgment, which I think is definitely seeped in this conversation as well. All right, so we're getting to the end here. So, anyone have any additional songs or lyrics that they would like to add to our um, lyric wheel? Let's pull up our lyric wheel so you can see it. You can go to the Linktree link that I have pinned in the comments, the pinned comment, and you can fill out the form to just tell us the song or the lyric and the artist and how it relates to this conversation. And then we will spin this wheel here shortly. So I'll give you a few minutes to add if there are any songs you would like to add now that we've had a deeper conversation about this word race. And while you do that, I will get something to drink. Water. That's all I drink is water. Not sparkling fancy water, but water. Okay. It's funny, Rumple. I knew you were gonna catch that. Um, so when you go to the link tree, it should be the second option. It should say, my word is bond, and it should have race there. I know, sparkling water is best, but you should be relieved to know that I do drink alkaline water. I love alkaline water. It's wonderful. So that's at least second best. It's got to be at least second best. But you should be able to, yeah, click that link and then go to, because the first one is Patreon, which is now open for anybody that would like to um, go over there and gather with me. And right under that should be my word is bond for race, and that should be the form that then should hopefully pop up. It should pop up on your phone because I did try and set it up so that um, it will work on both the computer and the phone. But let me know if it's not working. All right, I'm gonna go get some water for real. I'll be right back. Okay, so it's we've had an interesting last couple of weeks. So last week we looked at nation, and then this week we looked at race. Um, give anybody time to be able to fill that out, and I will go look at. I thought so. Let me look and see what we have next week. Ah, another interesting word for next week is religion. we we oh man, we diving into a whole bunch of sensitive soft parts for people. So yeah, next week we'll look at religion, but then it kind of switches up after that. So at the end of August we have education, and then on September 3rd, which is important for some reason. Um, we actually are looking, oh, that's actually pretty funny. So September 3rd, we're looking at the word money. How did that happen? Uh, I'll tell you the joke later. All right. So let's see. Let me see if, all right. I will give a few more seconds to see if anybody's trying to get in their responses, and then we will populate the wheel. Yeah, Judy. Universe has jokes, right? Yeah. Okay. So let me grab these songs and lyrics. Um, oh man, I had a brain fart there for a minute. I couldn't remember how to get these things out, but I did. I remembered now. I'm like, what do I need to get to be able to put this in the wheel? That was scary for a second. Okay, perfect. I'll make sure I'll make sure yours is in here. Rumble before. Yeah, it is in here. Yep, you did. You finished. Perfect timing. All right. Oh, that's a good one. Okay. I'm glad you added that. Thank you, Rumble. All right, let me grab. All right, go and get this. What do you? Okay. It was doing something weird. My computer was a little mad at me, probably because I've been working all day, and then all of a sudden, Oh yeah, sure, Josh. So Josh over on Twitch asked, yeah, if we could read all the songs and the focused verses, um, and then we'd break down one or two. Yeah, sure. That's a good suggestion. Because I do think it's interesting to be able to see these. Yeah. So let me grab them. Okay, got that. Now we go over to the lyric wheel. You guys are already seeing the lyric wheel, so we're good there. So let's put these in. We'll load this up. Um, oh, see, I messed it up. Let me try again. So, I forgot to grab the column header. So it got mad at me and told me, no, you did it wrong. Fix it. All right, so let's see. Hopefully this is fixed now. There we go. All right, so I think we could go down and be able to, yeah, see, I think we could look at all of them that are in the pool. It's going to be down here in this bottom left-hand corner. Let me know if you can't see it. So the first one that's on here is Billie Holiday and Nina Simone, Strange Fruit. Um, and yeah, this song is a protest song that exposes the treatment of Black people in the South. Then we have Kendrick Lamar, DNA, off of the Damn album. And then we have, and I'm just reading what's here. So if anything got cut off, hopefully that'll come up if it's chosen. I don't know why some of them are cut off and some of them aren't. I don't know. But then the next one is Sam Cooke. A change is gonna come. Um, and the lyric is, I go to the movies and I go downtown. Somebody keep telling me don't hang around. And it's speaking about Jim Crow laws in the South. And then next we have Bob Marley and the Wailers. Rat Race is the song. And the lyric is, don't forget your history, you'll know your destiny. In the abundance of water, the fool is thirsty. And then the whole chorus is Rat Race. Uh, Next, we have Michael Jackson, Black or White, off of the Dangerous album, 1991. Yeah, that was a good one. Oh, we did bring up Rat Race today. And then we have BTS Normal off of the Airang. Hopefully I'm pronouncing that close to correctly. The 2026 album. And the lyric is, and we call this thing normal. Run away, pushing me, pulling me. Said you wanted all of me, but what is even all of me? Suddenly, part of me is haunting me. Heard the things they calling me. What the hell you want from me? Ooh, that's a good one. All right, these are all good. We're gonna get some good stuff here. All right, so let's spin this wheel. Woohoo! All right, here we go. Spin the wheel. See which one will break down further for today. Oh, okay. Bob Marley and the Wailers, Rat Race. I'm surprised we didn't already um do the breakdown of the phrase rat race because we talked about it. That's so interesting that we talked about it but didn't actually already do the breakdown. So let's just look at the phrase rat race because then we'll have time to spin the wheel one more time. So I'm gonna grab what we need to look at Bob Marley. And then I am going to make sure I change the view so you all can actually see what I'm talking about. And we'll go over to our whiteboard. All right. Okay. See, I'm getting good. Getting good. Well, at least better. Better, better matters. Better counts. All right. So, oh my gosh, why does it always do this? Playing with my emotions. That's funny. All right. So this whole song is about being in the rat race. Um and this is actually one that I picked and put in there. And I just thought it was interesting how this the whole song is about being in the rat race, but this part about not forgetting your history and at the same time knowing your destiny. So having the awareness of your past, but also of the future and remembering that abundance um, is like plentiful, that there always is enough, um, but we act like there isn't. So that's where that is. But let's look at the phrase rat race. Rat race. And let's see how the addition of this second word changes things. So we know that race is 27 because that's what we've been working with. And let's look at rat race. Let's look at rat. So rat is 18 plus 1 plus 20. So 39. So we're getting that 9 energy again, that amplification of the 9. Oh, well, that's interesting. Okay, Josh, please be careful. Um, when we add 39 and 27 together, we get 66, which we have already seen because 66 is the numeric vibration of the word family. So we already looked at that, but it also is the numeric vibration of the word happy and of the word freedom. And what, like knowing this song, um, it really does seem like it's like this pursuit of happiness, this pursuit of freedom, and getting advice around being able to do that. Oh, let me see what Rumpel said. In certain Asian dialect are some of the D's. So the title was pronounced Ad E Dong Dong. Okay, thank you. And please, if I'm still mispronouncing it, please continue to correct me because I want to be able to say it correctly. Thank you. So this is a good one. So rat race is resonating the same as these words happy and freedom. And if we're in this rat race where it's like we are continuing to run on this wheel, on this cycle, and really it is in the pursuit of happiness and freedom. Good one. Okay, we can do one more. Let me go. Okay, go back to the wheel, but also make sure you can see the wheel. And we'll spin one more time. All right, so here we go. Woohoo! Spin that wheel. Kendrick Lamar DNA. Oh, yeah, this is a good one. So let me go grab this. And Josh, I know you are driving, so what I'm gonna do is see if I can go. I don't know if you added more and it just got cut off. So I'm gonna go over to the spreadsheet and see if I can see more of your explanation. Okay, so I grab this. Let me actually take us back to the whiteboard real quick. And get this here. All right, and let me go. I got loyalty, got loyalty. Yeah, side my DNA. All right, let's see. I want to make sure that we've got the whole lyric. Yeah, yeah, because it got cut off because it was longer, but I want to make sure we get it all. So I'm going to bring it over to the whiteboard with us so we can actually look at it. Um, Whoa, what are you doing? Being crazy? Yes. All right. So here is the entire lyric that was included. Whoa. Okay, there we go. So it's I got loyalty, got royalty inside my DNA. Cocaine quarter piece, got war and peace inside my DNA. I got power, poison, pain, and joy inside my DNA. I got hustle, though, ambition, flow inside my DNA. I was born like this, since one like this. Immaculate conception, I transform like this, perform like this, was Yeshua's new weapon. Woo, good one. I'm glad I went and grabbed that whole lyric because that is amazing. Um, so I think let's break down Stop, Rumble. I'm not. No, yeah, no. That's all Kendrick Lamar. We're not gonna start that rumor. It is pretty funny though. Let's look at. So let's look at DNA. Whoa. Go back to the size of life. So let's look at DNA. Let's look at um Damn, since that's the album name. And then we can also add Kendrick Lamar on there. Kendrick Lamar. There's something interesting, I think, happening with these three together. So Kendrick Lamar is 120. His whole name is the vibration 120. So then DNA is 4 plus 14 plus 1. So that's that whole vibration is made up of ones and fours. So new energy, but also the vibration of stability and foundation. And DNA is 19, um, which encompasses that 9 that we've been talking about, the ending of a cycle, but it's specifically ending a cycle or ending something to make room for the new energy, that one, to come into the space. So it is like, even in the lyrics, you can see where it's these things that would be perceived as negative that are being presented so that um, the new energy of like hustle and flow and ambition is able to also come in, and that these two are here together in this space. Interesting. And then dam is 4 plus 1 plus 13 plus 14. And that is 32. And we actually just saw that 32 is also the vibration of the word life. Because we saw that when we looked at Nipsey's quote. So, see, I knew there was something interesting here. So, just that album is vibrating with the same energy, the same vibration of um, life. And just because I know, um, the 19th letter in English is S. So we've also seen where we have lives. So whether this is how it was in the Nipsey quote, where it's representative of life is, or it's a possession where it's something that life owns. Um, those two together are coming in together in that way, and that's that 51. So that's interesting. And then when we add all three of these together, so 19 plus 32 plus 120, we get 171. So here again, we're getting um, one of these portal numbers that's amplifying this 7. Woohoo, 7, because we already talked about how 7 is this really important vibration in this conversation, because it is this perfect combination of masculine outward moving energy and feminine inward moving energy, and the how those two are working together. And both are needed. Oh, let's see. So Judy says over on Twitch that, yeah, Yeshua is an interesting way to use the Hebrew language in English. Yeah. Yeah, I was noticing that too when I was looking at these lyrics. It is an interesting way. So, but also this 171, when we add up the 1, the 7, and the 1, gets us again to that 9. So this is resonating that 9, where we we're seeing that the word race equals 27, which also gives us that 9. So here we are seeing how these vibrations, even coming from different perspectives of the one word race, but along with um, the song title and the album title and the artist, we're still getting to this similar vibration, and how now we can see where the connection is between these vibrations. Love that. And I really like this lyric in how it is expressing that the things that are used against people, as far as race and class and gender and all of those things that are social constructs, kind of like we were looking at nation last week also, um, are not necessarily things that they're not things that we can change. We can choose to hide them or not let people know, but we can't change them. I mean, we can like use skin lighteners and or use a tanning, or get plastic surgery to fix your physical things about you, but it doesn't change the life experiences that you've had in the time before you did that kind of work. Um, just being in the body that you're in. So I think that's interesting that DNA is about just who you are physically at the core. Yeah. So over on Twitch, Judy says Yahweh saves, or God is salvation. It comes from the Hebrew name Yeshua or Joshua, which combines God's name Yahweh with a word for rescue or save. Mm, yeah. Yeah, and that's definitely relevant here. And it's interesting how it's being used where it's Yeshua's new weapon. So there's that new, which is that vibration, that energy of one, but being a new weapon that is used to save or bring salvation. Hmm, interesting. Okay. All right, so we got some good ones. I am putting all of our songs together in one big spreadsheet, so then we can be able to at some point play around. Yes, and Josh, yep, and Josh did put this song in. You're right. But we will be able to have like one big, huge wheel with all the songs. And I am leaving all of the forms open, even if you don't see them. I'm not going to have them all listed on um, the link tree. I think I just keep it to 2 weeks, but you can still go and add to it. So if you think of a song that you want to add to it after the fact, you still can go in and add that in. So this is another great conversation. It was so wonderful having you. And so next week, our word for the series is religion. Religion. And I was saying earlier that yeah, we really are getting some pretty charged words, but I think that's important for us to look at. But after religion, then we look at the word education, we look at money, and we look at wealth. And then we talked about today how That definition of success is like the finish line. And so on September 17th, we will look at the word success also. So thank you so much for being here. Let me get our closing statement up so I can close this space. I'm so glad that you were here. This is a great conversation. I'm really enjoying doing this series. Hopefully, you're enjoying it also. And here we go. Let's close out our space. So, please apply the vibrational healing you take with you and come back soon for another healing dose. Always remember, I see you, I hear you, I feel you. You are love, you are healing, you are whole. Thank you, everybody. Have a wonderful night, and hopefully, I'll see you next week. Bye. Bye bye.